I was, like you said, they were up 13-10 at half, the Pokes were, and I was in the end zone when they blocked the punt to go up 13-10 at half, and like we were feeling all good as Pokes fans and stuff, and then they came out. I don't think we scored the rest of the game.
No, they blew our
And,
doors off. I mean, it's
yeah,
expected. It was Colt McCoy, a Heisman candidate quarterback.
yeah,
The only thing that we were even like remotely close with was just the fact that we had the elevation at our backs. Dog, I remember that game. They had that, and then my senior year of high school was your first year. They went, or Nebraska came here. Nebraska came here your senior year of high school. That's what it was.
yeah.
Or
And there
something
was
like
more
that.
red in the stands than there was
Dog, that was
down
crazy. I
goal.
remember because that game was on TV.
Yeah. That's usually how it was when one of those good teams would come to town, or like one of those big name teams. It was usually more of their fans in the stands than there was ours.
I remember that one had a lot of hype just because of Brett Smith. That was when we had Brett Smith, and it was like, okay, we have a chance, man. We might have a chance, but we didn't. I'm just excited because tomorrow I'll know what the season's going to be like for the Cowboys. You always can watch the first game and know, like, okay, this is what we're working with this year offensively.
Man, like I haven't watched the Cowboys in so long, like football wise, that I don't know how I know that under Bowl that recently they've just been pretty much the same, like 8-6, 7-5, stuff like that.
Just run the goddamn ball. It's so frustrating to watch.
Mm-hmm.
We drop back, or he'll have a quarterback that can't throw, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, let's just fucking throw, man. Let's just throw that thing." Like, no, bro, no, stop.
Yeah, man. Especially with Josh Allen. Like,
those were the best days. Those were the best.
I will say this though.
Uh-huh.
Because I went and watched with my brother. I went to, because with Josh Allen, they went to Memorial Stadium in Lincoln.
Yep.
And that's when I was out there coaching at Concordia. Josh Allen would make some plays or like make some throws, and like I feel like some of it was his teammates weren't quite on those levels to make those plays. You know, some of those like he did have good players around him. I remember they had that really good running back, Brian Hill, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brian Hill, and then that one good receiver, Tanner Gentry.
Yeah. But like I remember he made a few plays or made a few throws where it's like, ooh, if that was the right guy in that position, it probably would have been a nice little play.
Absolutely. Dude, I'm looking at that year. Bro, that was our best. I mean, record-wise, the way we finished up, we were not that. I mean, 8-6, like you said, pretty standard for Bowl. But at one point, we were 7-2, 5-0. When we beat Boise State, I was like, "Oh shoot, this is gonna be lit." And then they beat San Diego State at home, and even more. I remember that year because that was my favorite year of Wyoming football ever. It's the only good year I think I ever remember with good players.
I feel like at least from what I can remember, as far back as I can remember, with every football coach that has come through Wyoming, they'll get to a bowl game or get to a couple bowl games and there's a ton of hype around them. And then it always goes to about what we're seeing with Bowl at its best is 8-5 or,
Mm-hmm. I remember
couple, few games above 500 and maybe getting into a bowl game.
I remember I was sitting in the work truck in Gillette, and I heard that Coach Bowl was going to be the new head coach, and I was so geeked. I was like, "No way did we just get this guy!" And then a day later, I started thinking, I'm like, "What? Why am I so excited? We ain't gonna do shit. It's still Wyoming, you know what I mean? Like it's still Laramie. It's so hard. I feel like it's so hard to recruit there. Just
Well, that's
for
what I was
where
going
it's
to
at
say.
location wise. And
yeah, like
we have San Diego State in our
go ahead.
conference. They're going to get the recruits every year for football.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. When you're recruiting against schools like Utah and San Diego State, and once Boise State got into the mix, and there's some of these other schools, you know how it is recruiting at a school you might be at where you might be a little short-handed than, maybe the top end of your conference. It's like, oh man, how are we going to find a way to make this work? So I think you're exactly right about
facts. With that though, we'll just welcome the people to episode 26 of the Kitchen Hook podcast.
A couple Wyoming kids kicking it off with some Pokes football talk.
Go Pokes
Hoops podcast.
Go Pokes, baby. I don't have a football jersey. I don't have a football jersey, which is sad, but I still got a Wyoming jersey, and I'll rep this bad boy.
Is that Josh Davis?
Yeah, this is brown and gold treasure too. Way back in the day, I got this when I went to go watch Brandon Ewing play.
Oh, Brandon Ewing.
Yes, you remember him.
Bucket getter. He's near the top of the list, I think, for scoring at the.
Just overall play, I think he was just my favorite player because that's when, I don't know, he was just a good player. I loved watching Brandon Ewing play. But I told you this is going to be a complete change of pace, way off of Wyoming. But I'm just going to start this with this fact because I told you this morning, and it blew my damn mind when I saw it about Steph. Because I saw his stats for this year, and it was 29, 6-6, and he averaged like 40, 42, and some like 50 from the free throw line. And I'm thinking, how many times has this dude been like a 50, 40, 90 if you round up? And I just started looking, and then I'm looking at his free throws, and I'm like, I want to know how many free throws this dude's missed in his career. And
he's consistently been at 90% for years,
But when I started like digging into, because I looked on StatMuse and I got the regular season, and then I had to go to the postseason one, and added it all up with postseason and regular season combined. This dude's missed 434 free throws in 13 years. What?
That's ridiculous.
Dog, I missed 434 free throws this month just shooting around, probably.
Yeah, that's stupid. Like, being able to shoot at that level for, probably a decade now, at least a decade, you're going to rack up crazy numbers at the free throw line. Do you think, like, he measures up with guys like Rick Barry, the all-time great?
Oh, I think he's like, he's up there. It's 4,150 and 4,584. If your makes are in the same column as your misses, as your total shots, that just means your money, cash money.
Especially when you're shooting that many free throws. When the number's that high, like, what'd you say? It's in the 4,000.
4,584.
Yeah. When it's in the 4,000s and it's still your makes are in the 4,000s as well. Oh, goodness.
That's stupid. What was it? So he misses, on average, he misses just under 25 free throws a year. That's, dude, some people in the league, you say, oh yeah, that man misses 25 free throws in a month. Or in a couple weeks.
Oh, back in the Shaq days, it was 25 free throws in probably a few games.
Yeah.
Like when Hack-a-Shaq was going on, how much he was going to the line. But to miss 25 free throws in 82 games, that is unbelievable.
And he's been to 9 playoffs. Go ahead.
Is the math right on that one?
Are you sure about that? 90%. Like 90.5%. And then if you go through 9 seasons of playoff makes or playoff free throws, so he's made 698 free throws in the playoffs, He's missed 87. So he's shot 785 total. Dude, that's just nuts. I'm sorry, but I'm dumbfounded.
Yeah, that's absurd. Like, I think it just adds to the pile of, just Steph's resume as a whole, but in particular his shooting accolades or records or whatever you want to call them. Like, he's gonna have all of them by the time, maybe not all of them as far as, field goal percentage and stuff, because, there's guys that they shot, all their buckets were dump off layups and their field goal percentage is like 60 whatever percent. But
facts,
as far as guys that shoot the ball like Steph and shoot the type of shots he does, he's gonna have all those records.
He's in my opinion, he's the best shooter ever, all around.
Okay, let me ask you this though, dude.
Okay.
So now that you're seeing like the first early guys, Steph and Dame, that are really like these range shooters, these guys that have just extended the range of pretty much everybody, and now you're starting to see Trae Young and some of these younger guys have it. Do you think the records that Steph sets are going to be as untouchable as like John Stockton's assist numbers, or, one of those records that are kind of those untouchable records? Or do you think now that shooting's becoming such a premium thing that those records aren't going to be as untouchable in the future?
I think that they are untouchable. Just in the sense of you're dumb not to compare put Dame in the same type of sentence sometimes as Steph with shooting with the ball in his hands and where he's shooting from and just his ability to shoot, because Damian Lillard's up there as well. But with that being said, like, he's not even close to what Steph is. You know what I mean? Like, you just watch stuff that he does. It's just like, God damn, how does that go in? And I think we watch Sports Science. He's just perfected. I think he's just perfected the shot wherever with a hand in the face, all that stuff. And watching his now that his shooting coach is starting to release a lot of those like drills that he does, I think that helps a lot too, is with balance and stuff like that. Like they were showing a video of him shooting shots from the free throw line while dribbling with his right hand, shooting with his left hand, and they say it works on like stability and balance and core and all that stuff. And I'm just like, that stuff right there, the details that he takes, I think are he's just too good. I don't think we're going to see.
Quick sidebar.
We're not going to see that anymore.
Quick sidebar, kids, that does not mean that you need to start doing that drill. That is a very elite drill. So keep it simple right now, and if you start shooting like Steph, we can worry about that.
Yeah, when you're on that level, you can do crazy stuff, but what you're saying, keep it simple. Like I have that's just dumb. I was gonna say I have
but the real point I wanted to make was I think that's why the fact that you said like Steph has perfected it, and like to me, maybe I'm wrong on this, but to me Steph has put a science to shooting in the sense of like, maybe he probably wasn't the first person to figure this out, but like really emphasize and talk about how the more arc you get on that ball or on that shot, the higher chance and the higher, bigger cylinder you have for that ball to go in. And so like now that that's knowledge, common knowledge, and with shooting becoming such a premium, that's why I think numbers that Steph has might be more untouchable, or might be more touchable or attainable than like some of those other records that people consider untouchable right now.
Okay. I mean, that's a good point. I think I think that year he broke his hand, the year after they lost KD and Clay, and it was just him. He only played 5 games. That one hurt. And then his third year when he had the ankle injuries, he played 26 games. That one. Those are the only seasons he's made under 153 pointers at least. Other than that, it's 200 and up a year. It's like, yeah, it's nuts what he does shooting wise. Like I was gonna tell you, when I go shoot, I only am in the gym shooting with a basketball for like an hour total. I mean, maybe in there an hour and a half because I'm doing like ball handling stuff first. Because I want to be able to teach drills and not just have to explain it. Because you know how it is. It's so much easier to teach a drill than explain it, because you can show them like things that you want, things that you're looking for, and stuff like that. But I always just make them start off with 100 makes in the morning, and it's super simple. You just do 50 makes around the rim from all 5 spots, like right up next to the rim, and then you just pick 4 spots, kind of going back with 2 of them behind the 3-point line, and making 10 each. And you right away you start off with 100 makes, and then I make them go into 5-spot stationary shooting, which is 50 makes. They have to make 10 each spot before they can move to the next one. And so, like, we're starting the day off with 150 makes, and I always tell them, like, you guys, these drills may not seem like a lot, but you just did 150 makes that were like really good reps. Those were good shooting reps. You got into the gym and you got better. You were doing stuff game speed and game like. I was like, some kids will come into the gym and shoot 100 makes, but it's nothing like this. They'll do 5 of something else, and then they'll do something else. It's not structured like we're doing it with a purpose, you know?
Yeah. I think as a kid, learning or like understanding to have a little bit of a routine or kind of like a progression that you go through when you go in the gym, like just to get warmed up, maybe,
Yes.
you know, like maybe you mix up your workouts a lot, but like just to get warmed up, like you said, do your form shooting, make your 5 shots at each spot, you know, then do some stationary catch and shoot stuff, at least to get warmed up, maybe some off the dribble stuff, and then maybe get into your workout. Something that takes 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, you know, and then you can get into the stuff that you're really moving and working on.
And right now that stuff's kind of takes the whole time, the 2 drills that I do at that hour, because I do make mandatory 15 minutes of ball handling when we work out to start the drill. That's your daily vitamins, is handling the ball. You have to do that every single day.
Daily vitamins.
You don't like taking your daily vitamins, but they're good for you, so you gotta do your dribbling.
Hey, what is it about? I guess looking back, like I didn't necessarily look forward to, as a player, I didn't necessarily look forward to in like, especially individual workouts or positional workouts, that ball handling to start, like that stationary 2 ball or that stationary like pound series that you go through. But I wish I would have taken that stuff a little bit more serious, or like really, really honed in on that. Like you said, even if it's just 10, 15 minutes, if I really would have focused in on that stuff.
Yeah. I was thinking about that today. If you can handle the ball, if you can't shoot, but you can handle the ball, you're effective on the basketball court. I need you on. If you can handle it, why can't I have you on the court? You're easily a problem now, because okay, well, maybe if you're a driver, if they're going to dork you a little bit, can you still get to the rim? Or are they going to pressure you because you're quick? Stuff like that. Even big men, bigs. I get it. Bigs are like, why do I need to be able to handle the ball and go between the legs? Well, what happens when you're double teamed down in the post and you have to take a release dribble, but you have four arms swiping at the ball with your one arm dribbling? What are you going to do? How are you going to be under pressure? Okay, I guess.
Well, I think
I guess that makes sense.
And I think, like not even necessarily being able to break your guy down off the dribble, but like being able to feel good. Because like we've talked about before, people that use 6, 7, 8 dribbles to break people down, there aren't a lot of people that are effective at that.
No.
But like you said, having a big that can catch and use 3 dribbles or use a 2 dribble go to and a counter if he gets cut off to score the basketball. If you don't have the ability to handle the ball and handle the ball tight in those situations, you're not going to be effective and you're not going to get to your spots.
No,
so, yeah, you're right. All 5 positions, if you can handle that ball, just tune in for the 10 minutes at the start of practice. That's all I'm going to say.
I wish I would have done the same thing growing up. My mom bought me video, did all sorts of stuff. And you dribble, do your dribbling. I was like, no, I don't need to dribble. I'm good where I'm at. That's not my position. Whatever. I wish I would have learned how to handle the ball back in the day. Damn right, I wish of instead of now. Like you were just saying, if you can handle the ball confidently, it's just like shooting. If you're confident in shooting, it does not matter what hand is closing out at you. You're gonna make that shot, or you're gonna make it. You think you're gonna make it. If you're confident handling the ball, I don't care. I don't care who's guarding you. Pat Bev could be guarding you. And you'd be like, no, he's not stealing this thing from me. You know what I mean? Like it's just confidence changes so much with your ability to do things in anything.
Yeah, and I think not to get too much into the trainer ball handling type stuff, but doing your stuff where you're overloading the senses and really pounding the basketball and using changes and everything like that, but also implementing those same skills into game-like situations into the stuff you're doing. So if the only ball handling you're doing, quote unquote ball handling you're doing, is the 10 minutes at the start of practice, and during your workout you're not maybe using it between the legs to get to a spot. And I'm talking an actual workout, not necessarily shooting workout you were talking about. If you're doing shooting workout, that is what it is. But if you're going through a full-on workout, some of those skills better be used within the workout as well.
Facts. I like what you said there too at the beginning there. You got to push yourself with that too. I tell every single, and I've said this before on this, is I always tell kids, make a mistake. There's differences in making mistakes. You got to be able to fix your mistakes. And lazy mistakes aren't okay. But if I'm seeing you pound the shit out of the basketball trying to put a hole through the floor and you lose it, whatever, cool, bro. Go grab that thing and keep going. I love that because I always tell them if I'm putting a hole through the floor or trying to, and the ball just flies through my hand and I don't react. All right, now my body's learning. Okay, I got to react faster. I just learned I have to react a little bit quicker for that basketball to come, to be able to handle it. So I think kids are just too scared to make mistakes sometimes.
Just gotta work at it. The one thing I want to talk about, we texted about it, dude. Switching gears here.
Yeah, we have a whole lot of slates on this one.
Is what's going on with this this conference realignment, and what I'm seeing right now, I'm guessing this affects all sports, but especially basketball and football is what I'm assuming are the two sports that this conference realignment stuff really affects.
So,
but there are currently 2 teams left in the ACC.
Pac-12, you mean?
Or Pac-12, my bad.
Yeah, what teams are left?
Oregon State and Washington State.
Okay. Damn, where's Oregon going? Big 12?
Oregon, I can't remember where they're going.
But while you're looking that up, while you're talking, I don't see it's not going to affect.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not going to affect football that much, I don't think, just because those are TV contracts that they're signing and stuff, so they're making their money through those. Because Ben was telling me about this. Ben Bosham, he was he slid up on my story and goes, chump change compared to how much they'll make in TV deals. Because I was because I said, how does this make financial sense for Stanford and Cal? I was like, that's so much travel costs when you got to fly East Coast almost every week. And don't like stop for a second and think about when every sport is going on at one time in, let's say, December. Okay, football is going to the East Coast maybe one time that week. Not volleyball will be done. Basketball might have a game on the East Coast.
Football and volleyball are at the same time.
Yeah, I guess they would be going then too, still. And then wrestling may have something on the East Coast. So your school may have 5-6 different sporting teams that have to fly to the East Coast that week. That's 6 different planes. That's 6 different charters that you have to get when you land. That's so many. Like, that's the stuff where I was like, that's where I'm thinking. Like, I'm thinking everything together. But he was like chump change compared to how much they'll make in TV deals. He's like, money isn't an issue for the Power 5 conferences. It's just super inconvenient. And I was like, if we're going to realign conferences, then there's got to be a different way. I was like, this just doesn't make sense to put a team on the Pacific Coast in the teams with the East Coast. And he's like, with this part made sense to me because he goes, I think that was Cal and Stanford's only option to stay in the Power 5 conference, because if they were to drop to the WCC or Mountain West, they'd lose a lot of money. I was like, well, that's what you get when you don't perform. You don't perform, you get demoted. That's what happens in soccer overseas and international world. Don't perform, you get demoted.
Well, I think a big thing, and this is my very surface level education on this, so there could be a lot more that goes into this. But I think the big thing with the Pac-12 is out of all the Power 5 conferences, they've been the one that has failed to make that big time TV deal.
Mm-hmm.
They've been that conference that has, I don't think they have their own network, or and a bunch of their games aren't on at big time. They
do, but think about it. It's just think about where they're at compared to where half the country is at when they play the 8:00 game.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday night for basketball. When Oregon State's playing Washington State at 8 p.m., it's 10 p.m. East Coast. People are tucked in sleeping.
Well, okay, I'm gonna just say this while it's on my mind. It'd be interesting if we had anybody that listens to this, if they know some of the specifics,
Mm-hmm.
And can kind of explain why the Pac-12 has been dismantled so bad,
and
but why the Pac-12, and how come it was just the Pac-12 and the Big 12 didn't go as well?
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Why did the other 4 Power 5 conferences survive and Pac-12 didn't? So that's kind of like, I would like to hear somebody that knows the details of that really be able to tell us what that is.
It just crossed my mind because remember after the Natty, we were talking about San Diego State maybe going to the Pac-12. But remember that they told Mountain West they wanted to go there, and the Pac-12 never really made decisions on it. They knew, they had to have known we're probably not going to be a conference next year. Next 2 years, so there's probably no luck,
I imagine they had a hunch. So to double back real quick, Oregon and Washington both went to the Big Ten.
Okay. That's right. And USC and UCLA are in the Big Ten as well. I think once they announced they were dipping out, I think everyone else was like, oh, shit. Those are 2 kind of bigger schools in our conference that probably LA schools that provide some money.
I think, but to go back on your point, I think they at least had to have a hunch that the Pac-12 was going under.
Yeah.
And that's probably why it went down.
Thank God I don't have to listen to friggin' Bill Walton say, Conference of Champions, it's the best conference out here. Bro, shut up. When was the last time the Pac-12 won a championship?
Hey, bro, that's funny because
his loony ass.
I was just talking to one of my buddies here in Pueblo yesterday about Bill Walton calling games, and like my dad knows this too. Like I'd watch a couple games with him and Bill Walton be calling the game, and I couldn't even focus on the basketball being played because I was too busy listening to the crap Bill Walton was saying. And I'm like, dude, bro, what are you saying right now? Bro.
He talked about tripping acid one time on national television, and I was like, oof. What are we doing, Bill? What are we doing?
Bill, come on.
Top five worst college basketball announcers of all time. No, actually, you know what? Worst basketball announcer ever.
Here's the thing, though, dude. Like, and I think this might be this way with anybody kind of at his level. Is there's people that really love Bill Walton that call games.
No.
Like, and I can't stand it, dude.
Just call the damn basketball game. Talk about basketball. God.
Yeah.
What were you gonna ask me though?
The funny thing. So the LA Times wrote this thing about the 4 things that led up to the demise of the Pac-12. Oh, this is way too long. I'm not gonna read this whole thing. Oh,
look at that one. You probably scrolled for some facts and you were just thinking, damn, no.
I thought it was going to be a nice, simple list.
Well, there you go, guys. If you want to know about the Pac-12 before next episode, when we figure it out, go read that article on the LA Times.
Yeah. They might make you subscribe if you scroll down far enough. That's happened to me before. That will not happen.
I will press X really quickly and not give them any more information.
Yeah. But anyway, the other thing I just really kind of just wanted to close this out with, unless you got anything else, is I've been having this conversation with some people for a little while of like, I just get the feeling college athletics especially in the next few years, are going to look very, very different than what we've been used to for the past however many years.
Yep. 100%.
And I don't necessarily know all the details or what that means, but there have been things that have been said by administrators or other coaches or anybody that, just being around it a little bit of how certain levels are going to change and how just college athletics as a whole is changing as a landscape. And I'm really interested to see what that
I truly think the Division I is going to become its own monopoly. And I think D2, D3 might get left behind and just be their own entity. Like just the way it's going, it's all money now. It's money driven. Money's not a thing in D2, right? You know what I mean? Like, we've been there, we've experienced that. It's not a real highly sought thing for all these schools, money, right? It's just not there.
Well, I think it is. It's just not as in big of quantities.
Yeah, and it's not being flushed to athletics like a big,
exactly.
Yeah.
In athletics, it has to be manufactured a lot more.
Yep.
In other ways.
Yeah.
100%.
And like you said, you've seen it with LSU's women's basketball team. They bought their team next year. They bought a national championship. I guarantee you LSU goes undefeated next year in women's basketball and just wipes the floor with everybody. I do, because they got Haley Van Lith. She's that lefty from Louisville.
Yeah, no, I know.
And then they got a couple other transfers that are from big schools. I'm just like, if you got the boosters that are willing to pay the money, you're gonna win. You're gonna buy championships, and that's what it's gonna turn into for Division I is money. And that's why, like we said a couple episodes ago about the NILs, I truly think there needs to be more rules within it and what you can and can't do. Like, if you're gonna treat it to where people are buying stuff, then tampering needs to be a big deal. Like there should, like the NBA has tampering rules. You can't be actively recruiting people to come play for you, unless you're like a free agent or something like that. You know what I mean? Unless you've hit the transfer portal.
I think you're spot on when you said, because right now this NIL stuff is kind of like the Wild West. It hasn't been around long enough for us to
understand it.
To understand it and to see the form it takes after a little bit, that's with anything. I feel like when anything new comes along, especially with stuff like this, you can't make laws or like rules against it because it's new. You don't know what the regulations are until you start to, like, that line of good and bad will start to kind of form itself, and then you make the rules around it. But I think you're spot on, dude. Like, as this NIL thing starts to regulate a little bit more, it might clean up a little bit. Who knows?
And like, it was yesterday. I was talking to my mom about this. We're watching the Utah game, and I'm like, because I was like, Mom, there's kids out on this field right now that are making six figures on that football field right now, probably. And she's like, yeah, I just don't like that. And I was like, no, I agree, but you got to see things both ways here. I was like, imagine me, I'm some big name athlete at, let's say, Florida. I sell tickets. If I'm the best player, I'm going to be the one my name is selling tickets. My image is selling tickets. I'm selling gear, basically. You know what I mean? I can't profit off of people buying stuff because of me and what I'm earning for the school, essentially. I was like, so you got to look at it that way. But at the other sense, you got to look at it as now we're giving kids that have never had this much money, and now we're just bam, right out of high school, just saying. And I'm not saying it's like there's responsible kids out there. I'm not saying every kid is irresponsible, but giving a college kid $20,000, dude. And some kids are gonna go like what those stories you told about kids with their money, they go blow it on tattoos and stuff, and then ask you for food money, and you're like, no, bro, you do like. Why'd you go buy those Jordans?
Yeah, and obviously that wasn't NIL money, but yeah, no, I know what you mean. And let's be real here for a second. Go back to when we're at King Street and we get $20K in our pocket real quick.
I'm booking a flight to Vegas that day. Are you kidding me?
I don't know if I'm doing that. I'm not a big Vegas guy. Vegas isn't really kind of my speed, but like, there's certainly things in ways I'm probably going to be a little bit irresponsible with that.
Oh, for sure.
20, 22.
I guess, yeah, at that age, okay, at that age, we'd go to Vegas. Come on. This age, we'd do something else. We'd do other things with it. That age, we'd be going somewhere where it was fun.
It's a good time.
It's a great time.
No, I think this. I think just with all of this, the conference realignment, the NIL stuff, and all this stuff going down, college athletics is going to look super different. And I think you kind of gave your take that D1's going to monopolize. I think the levels I'm going to focus on are kind of the lower levels of like what's going to happen with a lot of D2 schools. That's kind of, those are kind of the schools that I think are in a serious gray area, and some of those NAIs and maybe D3s, but a lot of those NAIs and D3 schools, those are kind of more private schools, or they don't rely quite as much on state funding because they have their other ways of making that money. That I think they'll kind of find a way to be okay. It's those D2 schools that I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them.
There's going to be some that probably cut athletics or have to shut their doors in general. And I feel like that's something we've seen quite a bit this year. or in the past 2 years is a lot of schools just closing doors like ASAP, and you see a lot of like emergency recruiting tweets like, "Oh, school's closing down here. Like, there's a bunch of good kids. There's all these kids here." It's like, damn,
Yeah,
that sucks. Like, that sucks.
I think part of that is there were some schools trying to hang on after all the COVID stuff.
Oh yeah,
and they probably finally just ran out of gas.
Yeah. Well, we were lucky.
Bro,
we were lucky. Western had money in their bank, in like their stash
stuff. Ready
they had a decent amount, a pretty good amount in case things went south.
Bro, this is what I want to know. And I think it was like the fake YO Sports Twitter account or something. I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah.
And it was a quote tweet, and the quoted tweet was like, "What's something that went away that you wish would come back," or something like that, or you can't understand why it's not back yet. And the fake YO Sports quoted it and said Sheridan Generals basketball.
Yeah,
I want to say right now that we're recording and we're on air, whoever the decision makers are with Sheridan basketball, men's and women's, and just Sheridan athletics in general, they got to find something to do to make that happen. Like, what's going on up there? Let's make it happen. This community of Sheridan loves that unit or that college.
That's what they got.
They love that. Exactly. That they love that Sheridan Generals athletics. And I cannot believe they haven't brought it back yet.
Bro, we're the only state in America that has one college, like one NCAA sanctioned college. We're the only besides Hawaii had, like, you know what I'm saying? So we are gonna enjoy our sports a lot more when it's in our town, because not everyone can travel to the bottom half of the corner of the state and go watch Wyoming play, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that was one of the things that Linder was battling last year. He's like, man, we got Hunter Maldonado here, and no one's gonna show up to watch him come play. Like, come on, it's like, bro, look where you're at. Not the whole. We can't just like flood the arena every night because we all live within an hour away. You know what I mean? Like, Laramie's still a pretty small town compared, like, outside of college season. It's a smaller Wyoming town. You know what I mean?
It certainly is.
So I think that's something you have to battle. I think that's something that, as Wyoming, that's why that we like our sports so much, and that's why everyone got so pissed when Gillette and Sheridan went away.
Mm-hmm. But it's just, the thing for me is Gillette found a way to get it back. You know, they found a way to bring those programs back, whichever ones they were able to get back.
Facts.
And I would think Sheridan would be able to do something similar. You know what I mean? And it blows my mind that they have that campus and those facilities that are not, they're solid JUCO facilities that are just going to waste up there.
Just rotting over there for no, Yeah, that sucks.
The Golden Dome.
That's Golden Dome. That's something that needs to be brought back for sure.
I had to get that off my chest.
Did you watch Team USA last night?
I did not. But
Dog, I woke up at 2:30. I was gonna put it on
to watch it.
Yeah, and then guess what happened? I fell asleep.
What?
A minute later, I fell asleep.
You did.
Woke up at 4:18, just in time to catch the last 3 minutes. And when I tuned in, boy, was I shocked to find the score to be 72-68 to Montenegro.
Yeah.
But they closed the game.
We ended up getting them by 12.
And for all the people that want to look at Austin Reeves' stats, oh, he's the savior, man, get the out of here. God damn it.
No, you're fired up today, Bush.
I'm kind of kidding on that one, because when you look back and think about that national team basketball is a lot different. Like, you're looking at, like, Brandon Ingram is a 15 to 17 shot per game guy in the NBA, and he took 3 shots in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: Anthony Edwards obviously led him in scoring.
He's going to be the best player in the
Austin
league in 3
Reeves,
minutes.
he was the second leading scorer.
1 for 2 from the field. 9 free throws.
It was all from the free throw line? Oh, really?
His only make came with 1 minute 50 left. He hit a step back 3.
Really?
Yeah. 3 turnovers, a block, 3 steals, which is not bad. 2 assists, 2 rebounds. 2 of them were off. They were both offensive. 12 points, 9 of 11 from the free throw line. But Anthony Edwards, since you brought him up, that dude's going to be the best player in the league in 3 years.
I can't argue with that, to be honest with you.
His growth is unreal.
He is he's what they say, what the youths say these days is different, you know? Like,
yeah.
That dude has some game. He's
that type. He's that Steph Curry, that LeBron, Kobe, that type of player in the league, KD, that you're like, you see him play in his rookie, you're like, damn, okay, this guy's going to be pretty good. And then in the playoffs this year, you watch him, or just even this year, you watch him in general, and you're like, yeah, that kid's going to be something really, really good. Really, because I remember I said it when Luka came into the league. I said he was going to be an MVP, and it's only a matter of time before Luka is an MVP.
I think we kind of had this conversation a little bit of like who's that next group.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards, I think he's starting to emerge in that. Luka, you just mentioned one. But I can see those two guys being guys that are in MVP that battles in the years to come.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
Scoot Henderson's going to be one of those guys too.
Really, after no NBA games, you're gonna?
I just like his.
Put it out there.
I'm a big dude when it comes to with guards. I'm bigger on size. And he just I don't know. He just looked so ready when he was playing in that summer league game. I was just watching him. I'm just like, God, this guy's really good. I think he deserves the hype of he could be one of those dudes if he stays with it.
Yeah. I think didn't he get hurt after his one summer league game or something?
Yeah, who knows how much that is?
Yeah, I mean,
hey, bro, we're gonna pull you at 8 minutes of the second quarter. I'm gonna say you have a shoulder injury, so just hold your shoulder when you're coming off.
He was hurt?
I don't know. It's just
summer league conspiracy theory.
I'm
gonna say this about Team USA, and for one, I did not know Vucevic was
me neither.
Montenegro. But they have a solid looking little squad. Kendrick Perry, for some reason, I don't know, his last name doesn't end in itch.
I just noticed that.
How did he get
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players are itch.
That all the rest of them do. But Team USA I think they're emerging as a team that can win this thing, because I'm looking at some of these other games. I was looking a little bit earlier today, and like big powers in the world, like Spain lost.
Yeah, but Canada lost too. Latvia is playing pretty good.
Canada lost.
For some reason, Latvia is playing well without Porzingis, and that's just weird to me. Serbia lost. That one was the wild one. But if they don't have Jokic, I'm sorry.
But there's good teams that are losing, and
Australia is 2-2.
That
that's the one that shocks me. Nicholas K's on that.
Hey, did you recognize? I was just about to ask if you recognized anybody on that.
Because I was looking for Nicholas K. For all you people that don't know, Armac player, played at Metro State with Mitch McCarron.
Speaking of, I was hoping to see Mitch McCarron on that roster.
Me too. That's who I was looking for.
No, he's not.
Puerto Rico's 3-1. Wow. What? Yes, the world's catching up, for sure.
But I feel like USA is the only power
we still
team
have
or power nation.
You're seeing the talent.
Right?
You're seeing the talent, kind of. Yeah. I don't know. I think if the U.S. ends up playing Canada, though, I think that's going to be a damn good game. I hope that's the game. Actually, I hope that's the gold medal game.
Well, both of those teams are going to give each other their best shot.
Oh yeah, that's the NBA. That's the U.S. versus the world, basically.
Yeah, versus
because Canada has box score here. Let's see here: Dwight Powell, Shea, Kelly Olynyk, RJ Barrett, Dylan Brooks, Lou Dort, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So they have 7 players that are NBA guys that play their minutes.
Their top 7 is NBA.
It's crazy.
Canada's coming up a little bit.
Switching gears, this is the last thing I want to ask you about before we end this thing. And I encourage everyone that hasn't, if you haven't watched this, to watch it. Have you seen the episode BS High on Bishop's Sycamore, that football team?
No, dude, but I've seen the previews and stuff. I've seen the ads.
Do you have HBO Max?
Yeah.
It's on HBO Max. Watch it. You will be jaw dropped the whole time. I'm not shitting you. I saw someone quote, they're like, I watched this and my jaw hit the floor the first 30 seconds I was watching it, basically. And I'm not kidding you. I was sitting there. I had to rewind things. So I was like, did I hear that right? This dude is a legit. All I got to say is if you're a coach that is in it to do what that dude did, like, F you. You deserve a special spot down under in HE double hockey sticks land. Because
dude,
Jesus,
I got that vibe just from the previews.
The preview goes, how do you want my hands? Because it's really important. It's really important how people view me. And they're like, I don't care, man, just be you. And he turns to the camera and goes, do I look like a con artist right now? And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, man. Like,
what?
Well, if you're gonna say that, yes, you do.
But it gets crazier than that. That's the first part where I just kind of was like, no way he said that. And that's kind of how they opened up the show. And as they keep going and going and going, you're going to be like, oh my God, this man would rent out hotels for the school, for the kids to stay in 3 months. And the hotel would say, oh, you don't have to pay for 90 days. So he'd be like, oh, fuck yeah. No. So he'd get in there and then they'd get evicted out because he wasn't paying bills. And dude, stuff was happening. Like he would call.
Don't tell me about it. Don't tell me about it. I don't want to.
You got to watch it. Watch it so we can discuss next time. Because holy shit. That's all I got to say. I'm sorry about the language there, but that thing blew my mind. Yeah,
Bush is just cursing up a storm like a sailor here today.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. We're gonna have to put the explicit.
I put it on every single one because I don't. I put it on every single one because I'm not. I never remember. Did we say something?
We get into conversation sometimes and it slips, but
it's okay. It's language.
It's just been more than normal. So I'm kind of
a little fired up. That one, the Bishop Sycamore thing fires me up because that's just crazy.
I want to watch that.
You have to. You're gonna be shell shocked. Like, wow. Because I was sitting there watching.
I already know.
What? This man got on ESPN. What?
Yeah, and then they got ran out of the world by, was it IMG they played? Who'd they play?
IMG.
Yeah, on ESPN.
Yeah, you gotta, watch it and let me know what you think of it, because I'm
gonna go flip it on right now.
It'd be better. What else? Let's see.
Episode 26, baby.
Yeah, episode 26. That's it. Last thing, Ben Simmons, that comment. Ben Simmons. What do you think on Ben Simmons to end it? That's what I wanted to ask you about. because he said he's like, I can't wait.
Which one?
The most recent one. He's like, this Ben Simmons would destroy the old Ben Simmons. Blah blah.
Oh. I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll see if he came or went into the off-season focused and he handled some business. I think we've talked about him in past episodes. Is he doesn't always seem to take being like a true professional NBA basketball player as serious as maybe he should, and that's evidenced by the improvement / lack of improvement that he's shown over some years. Also some injuries and stuff, but like the proof's in the pudding, dude. So like you better show it. Like if you come out and flop, you're going to be out of the NBA. Yeah. I'm just going to say that right now. If he comes out this year after doing this talking and he's a flop, he's going to be out of the NBA.
And I agree. He is a thief, and I've heard that story before. So just show me what it is, man. Just stop talking and do it. Like we heard this last year. Midway through the season. Oh, Ben Simmons is back. Ben Simmons is doing great. He's making great progress. Bullshit. Baloney.
That's what they're supposed to say.
Well, even he was saying it, and it's just like, bro, if you're gonna be
saying this, I know. That's like, what like if it's coming out of Ben Simmons' camp, that's what they're supposed to be saying. They're not gonna say he's having a bad offseason to the media, but we'll see. A wise man once said, "There comes a time when winter asks what you did all summer."
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and we'll see what he did all summer.
Wow. Did you just say when winter asks what you did all summer?
I did.
That's clever. That is clever.
I think that's a Don Meyer or a / Coach Smiley quote. I know Coach Smiley was the first person I heard it from.
Another Don Meyer quote. I'm pretty sure Coach Curry got this from him. Leather doesn't penetrate flesh, but yours is 10 times better. I've never heard that. Winter.
Don Meyer had some bangers as far as the quotes.
Craziest thing is he's a top 5 college basketball coach all time, and people don't even know who he was because he coached D2.
Well, that was what people referred to him as like the greatest coach that no one knows about.
Yep. So if you don't know about old Don Meyer, rest in peace. Do your research.
Yeah.
Dude knew what he was talking
about. I think they did an E60 on him. They did an E60 on him when
they sure did.
When he won an ESPY.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. That's all I got. I'm
Write that quote down, Bush.
I did already.
All right, people, we're out of here.
Yeah, it's been a good one. Episode 26.
Kitchen Hope.
Peace.